35mm has always sat right with me. Something about the fact that you can take a wide photo that tells a story, but also keeps it intimate and grounded so that your subject doesn't really feel out of place. It's just one of the lovely things about it. You're not really stepping back from the photo, you're stepping in it. You're kind of in it actually. And that's why so many photographers keep going back to this focal length. Today we're shooting with Leica's latest M lens, the Noctilux-M 35mm f1.2 ASPH. Now this is the fastest 35mm lens that Leica has made for their M models. It is also the first Noctilus that lets you focus this close. Now on paper, all of that sounds great, but what really matters is how this changes the way you shoot. We're out here in New York City shooting in natural lighting because that's where a lens like this really reveals itself. We're looking at real life conditions where the light starts to fall off and the environment actually becomes part of your image. So we're gonna walk around, take a couple photos, and show you what this lens is really all about. Now the first thing that stood out to me about this lens was how close you can get. With a minimum focusing distance of only 16 inches, you can really isolate your subjects. Now combine that with the f1.2 and you're in for a surreal freaking picture. I mean, I'm talking about it's not compressing your photos, it actually makes it look like the environment is part of the photo without it feeling artificial. Now I can keep talking on and on about 1.2, but I really want to show you what the actual difference is. So we're going to compare it to an older Summicron 35mm f2 and show you how the photos actually look next to each other. Now I'm popping up these two images on the screen. At least in my opinion, the Noctilux image just has a much punchier color contrast compared to the Summicron. Image quality is where this lens really earns its name. Leica has done something with the optics here that's just ridiculous, right? We got special glass, multiple spherical elements, and a floating element to keep performance consistent throughout the focusing range. But none of that matters unless it shows up on the image, and it does. There's a clarity to the files here that doesn't feel harsh. Something that Leica always aims for is not creating something that looks sterile, but something that feels natural. Even down to when you're focusing between the focusing and out of focus range, the subject separates from the background without it feeling forced or artificial at all, which is just a huge plus. Now let's look at how highlights roll off. Even wide open, there's a calmness to an image. Contrast stays intact, colors feel restrained and believable, and nothing pulls your attention away from the subject. This is a lens that lets your photograph really speak instead of shouting over it. Now what I appreciate the most about this lens is that it feels like an M lens. The M series hasn't really changed much since the 1950s. Same mount, same mechanical philosophy, and yet it continues to evolve with today's modern sensors. This Noctilux is designed with today's high-resolution cameras in mind, but it doesn't abandon what makes the system special. Now, as sensors are progressing more and more and having more resolution, lenses are sometimes having a hard time keeping up. However, Leica is not waiting around. They made this lens specifically to be used in current systems as well as future systems. This is the type of lens that you will be using for years to come without really ever feeling like you've outgrown it. In the end, this lens is not speed for the sake of speed. It is all about being deliberate and having a tool that helps you be patient, take photos with intent, and just overall a really good looking lens. The Noctilux-M 35mm f1.2 ASPH is the type of lens that will most likely stay on your camera and be with you for the rest of your life. Not meant to be replaced, but meant for you to take amazing photos with anywhere you go. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, my name is Juan Pablo, and we will catch you next time.